Deadliest Catch, a popular Discovery Channel show, follows the crew of the Wizard boat on a crab fishing quest in the Bering Sea. The crew is highly motivated and eager to catch their target, but the captain, still motivated, jokes about knowing hotspots for starfish. They have managed to get 2 dungeon carbs and 600 pounds of starfish so far. However, when the cage is returned blank, it is not fun for anyone. Jacob, who is ambitious and wants to become a captain, is demoted by Captain Keith. Jacob complains about their work and the lack of value they have caught. The team is about to catch some crabs, and Captain Keith needs to check the tank's condition. Monty, the relief captain, checks out the crabs while Jacob tries to help him. Jacob agrees that it was good, because it was far away from where the captain was, and doesn't blame him for what happened. Keith then heads to the remaining crew and informs them that Jacob is no longer part of the team. He then goes back to driving, complaining about not having a pleasant morning recently. The workload seems to have increased by 25%, so everyone has to step up to fill in for the missing person. Jacob is back in his room, saying he has to quit and run his boat. After benching, Jacob is seen washing the dishes and helping his crew members in any way he can. Captain Keith finds stacking and setting all 150 pods difficult for the remaining deckhands, and the team needs to be more worn out. Taylor, a deckhand, has been the one working the most, moving the bait and hanging it up in the cage. Captain Keith calls everyone for a quick discussion in the house, and he tells Jacob that his absence had given everyone 25% more workload. He tells him that if he wanted to continue working on the ship, he had to start listening to his orders. Jacob accepts his mistake and apologizes to Keith and the crew, asking if he could help them out. Keith hopes that Jacob can do what he asked of him, as a member can only get 3 strikes to be fired, and he already has 2. He decides to join the crew and offload the biggest pod they had seen in the season with 234 crabs. The whole crew is happy with the result, and Keith is happy that Jacob made the right decision to work together with the crew. The Wizard is a single-deck crab fishing boat designed for ocean service. Built in 1945 by Ira Bushy and Sons Inc., the ship was initially used as a yard oiler in line with a U.S. Navy design. After being sold to a private company in 1974, it spent 8 months as a molasses carrier before being bought by John Jorgensen in 1978. Bender Shipbuilding in Mobile, Alabama, adapted the ship into a crab fishing boat, adding a bow thruster in 1978. The vessel's hull is made entirely of welded steel and has a circular stern, vertical stem with a flared bow, and an elevated foredeck with a framed steel tophouse positioned aft. The ship is divided into 3 levels: the main deck areas beneath the main deck, and an upper level called the 0-1 deck, which has a wheelhouse. Anchor gear and moorage gear are carried on the 0-1 deck, which is also the top level of a full-width deck enclosure, aft with a raised partial-width deck house serving as a navigation bridge ahead and housing the master's quarters and office aft. The hold or machinery deck is separated into 13 main waterproof sections underneath the deck. A saltwater support tank is located forward of the crash bulkhead. The refrigeration machinery compartment and bow thruster follow aft, with a double-bottomed potable water tank underneath. The port and dry starboard holds are located next to each other, and equipment and machinery for refrigeration are also kept in the port hold. The Wizard was renamed after John Jorgensen's grandfather's Longliner, one of the premier cod and halibut boats in the Seattle fleet of the early and mid-20th centuries. Bender Shipyard in Louisiana converted the Wizard to a crabber in 1978, from where John and his family sailed her through the Panama Canal and on to Seattle, where Marco Shipyard finished the conversion. In 2005, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration awarded the Wizard King and Opilio crab allocations among the highest in the Bering Sea for an individual boat, ranking in the top 5 for Kings and the top 10 for Opilio in a fleet of over 250 vessels. The fishing vessel Wizard, a legendary crab fishing vessel, began its journey in 1979 during the king crab heyday of the late 1970s. It targeted the Byardy crab, Tanner, and the fledgling Opilio crab, Snow. In the late 1980s, when king crab had recovered and Opilio quotas surged to phenomenal levels, the Wizard was one of the top 10 crab producers in the Bering Sea. Under John Jorgensen's tutelage, Keith Colburn learned the ropes of becoming a proficient crab captain. John Jorgensen sold the vessel to Keith Colburn in 2005, who maintains a close relationship with him, who harvests his IFQ allocation, and that of several other IFQ crab holders through lease agreements. The Wizard is now working with another boat in the Alaska Crab Producers Cooperative, an intercooperative exchange sub-district and the Bering Sea's largest harvest cooperative. Despite equipment challenges, the Wizard crew is determined to reach its crab goal. The first pot they pulled was filled with crabs, which excited the crew members. The second pot released into the ocean came back up, filled with crabs. The crew couldn't stop smiling because of the excitement. As the weather changed, Keith told the crew to move the pots to a different place to be safer, but Jacob assured them that the knot would hold the pots down well. Surprisingly, the knots worked well and saved the pots, so they decided to trust him. Keith Colburn's production is something many other captains aim to achieve, regardless of whether it is in the traditional derby format or under the new individual fishing quota system. Under the command of Captain Keith or Deputy Skipper Monty Colburn, the Wizard consistently ranks among the top 10 vessels in the fleet for crab output. In 2002, he set a record by bringing in 540,000 pounds of Opilio crab in a year. When the usual harvest was just 130,000, the Wizard has produced the most snow crab since 1999, and the second highest amount of king crab out of around 200 captains between 1996 and 2000. Captain Keith Colburn is known for his spicy temper, sometimes overly dramatic tendencies, and ability to fill enormous quotas. He began his crabbing journey on the 135-foot Alaska Trader in 1985, and has been on the vessel for more than 30 years. Colburn's ability to convey the life of a crabber while getting the job done is unmatched. Keith Colburn, a former chef and owner of the Alaska Trader crab boat, was inspired by the Wild West of Alaskan crab fishing when he heard about the opportunities in the industry. He initially had a goal to become a chef, but decided to focus on his culinary skills, which helped him secure a spot on the Alaska Trader. In 2005, Alaskan crab fishing underwent a significant change with the introduction of an individual fishing quota system. This led to a reduction in the fleet from around 250 boats to around 80. Keith and his wife Florence purchased the Wizard from John Jorgensen to ensure a spot as one of the surviving boats. The Wizard's size of 156 feet and Colburn's knack for filling it were crucial factors in securing the quota. Monty Colburn, the relief captain, joined Keith aboard the Wizard in 1988 as a full-share deckhand. He earned his Coast Guard mate's license in 1992 and upgraded to a master's in 1995. Keith and Monty began operating the Wizard full-time as captain and relief captain mate. Monty took command of a succession of his crab boats, allowing him to gain captain's experience and operate his boats in partnership with Keith aboard the Wizard. The brothers are often at odds on how things should be run, but Keith has voiced full trust in Monty's ability, often noting that his brother is one of a few guys in the fleet with a master 1,600-ton captain's license. Monty is excited for the season to start, having just rebuilt the whole engine on the Wizard, about a $100,000 job. He may be the only person on the Wizard capable of calming his erratic brother, but it remains to be seen how much autonomy Monty has earned in Keith's eyes. Monty's fishing out of bounds last Verdi season cost the Wizard time and money, but Keith could decide this enough to keep him out of the captain's chair he had his eyes on. Gary Soper, a full-time professional crabber, has been with the Wizard for over 20 years and is known for his dedication and hard work. He has worked as a deckhand alongside Keith and Monty and has been in charge of deck operations and driving the boat at night when the Wizard operates around the clock. Soper is known for his relentless hazing of greenhorns and his propensity for the occasional dirty joke. As a mainstay on the Wizard, Soper receives the entire crew's respect. Kelvin Stafford, an ambitious young deckhand with experience in other fisheries, has joined Keith's crew and has quickly gained recognition for his quick learning of crabbing mechanics. Kevin's claim to fame and legitimacy qualifies him as a man of the sea, sailing solo to Polynesia in a 28-foot sailboat. This year will be Kevin's third stint on the Wizard, and he is a tough worker who looks forward to seeing the crew, but just wants to grind out the season to earn a living. Freddie Mwagatai, a former hand on the Cornelia Marie, has seamlessly meshed with the stout crew since joining the Wizard. His work ethic is exactly what Captain Keith wants in a deckhand. Though Freddie is not a no-nonsense guy himself, he brings positive energy to the Wizard crew, embodied by his cod blood bath ritual at the season's start, and the mohawk haircuts he gives his fellow deckhands for good luck. Freddie wears his emotions on his sleeve, and his attitude is a good barometer for the mood on deck. Roger Schlosstein, a greenhorn, joined the Wizard as a greenhorn during the record-setting 2012 Opies season and quickly proved himself a self-motivator on deck. He earned a coveted Wizard jacket at the end of the season, a sign that Keith sees Roger as a long-term guy for his company. With the ability to work the rail, count crabs, and help in the engine room, Roger has earned the full respect of the crew over the past 2 years. Last summer, Roger spent 2 months with Lenny and the mechanics on the Wizard rebuilding the engine. As Lenny ages, Roger wants to learn more and eventually take over when the veteran retires. Captain Keith Colburn built a $1 million business out of his final $50, developing the Wizard into one of the most powerful vessels in the fleet during World War II. Some costs come with every win and every sacrifice. What do you think about the Wizard ship's capabilities? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. The show Deadliest Catch is incomplete without Captain Sig Hansen and this team risking their lives on a ship in the middle of a deadly ocean. Throughout his tenure on the hit fishing show Deadliest Catch, Captain Sig Hansen has solidified himself as one of the most famous faces in his field. But how much Sig Hansen and his team gets paid from this TV show? And how rich is Captain Sig Hansen? Is it the crab pots or the camera crew that ignites his fortune? Let's untangle Sig's net worth and uncover his surprising income sources. On April 28, 1966, hailing from a long line of fishermen in Norway, Sigurd Johnny Hansen was born in Seattle. He has 2 younger brothers and attended Shorewood High School in Shoreline, Washington, and at the age of 14, he began working on his father's fishing boat, and after completing high school, he went fishing full-time. It was at this time that Sig Hansen got to know the waters of Alaska and the Bering Sea. At this point, he was appointed relief captain of Northwestern at the tender age of 22. After 4 years, he took full-time captaincy of the boat, becoming one of the youngest captains in history. In no time, Sig had established a reputation for being a tough captain who doesn't put up with fools or betrayal. Since his early days leading the Northwestern, he understood that his future in the captain's chair is entirely dependent on performance. You can see it as, if you are not successful in bringing home the fish, you go back to work as a deckhand. However, Captain's fishing career is interesting, and you might not want to miss it. As time passed, Sig Hansen advanced through the Northwestern's ranks to take on the role of relief skipper. He assumed full-time command of the ship at the age of 24. The ship has had a stellar safety and gross production record while he has been in command. Out of all the ships on Deadliest Catch, the Northwestern made the most money in 2005 and 2006. But that's not all. In the year 2020, the captain announced that his fishing operations were being negatively impacted by the coronavirus outbreak. He said that he was spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on boat maintenance in order to get ready for the next months, even while he acknowledged that he was fortunate to be able to continue fishing and earn money. In his role as the Hansen patriarch, Sig remains fiercely protective of his top-producing operation, his reputation, and his crew. But then, the past several seasons have tested the resolve of the stalwart Captain Sig. From suffering a major heart attack to losing a close friend in the tragic sinking of the FV Destination, Captain Sig has battered the blows of a career on the sea. Sig has surely made quite a bit of money through his work on the show, which consistently ranks as one of the top-performing shows on the Discovery Channel, as well as outside of the show as an expert fishing captain. Although he is a humble fishing boat captain, Sig's career as one of the stars of Deadliest Catch has netted him more than just fish. Indeed, he has accrued an impressive net worth that reflects his long, hard work over the years on television. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Sig is worth around $4 million. Now here a question arises. How much does Sig make per episode of Deadliest Catch? Well, working as a fishing boat captain is definitely a high-risk, high-reward situation. It is reported that captains can earn more than $200,000 a year, and crew members can earn as much as $50,000 over the course of the 3-month crab season, the 2 most active months being October and January. However, that doesn't include their salary from being on the show either, which means they're bringing home quite a pretty penny. Besides that, Sig's position is also unique because he's not only a cast member on the show, but also a technical advisor. This means that he offers valuable insight to producers and editors to ensure that the show does a good job of explaining exactly what is happening and why. Between his fishing proceeds, his double-barreled roles on Deadliest Catch, and his new spin-off show, it's safe to say that Sig is bringing home the bacon, in addition to all of those fish. The bottom line is, Sig has been working in the fishing industry for virtually his entire life. So, he has the right to enjoy all this fortune today. On top of that, Sig is passing his love of fishing on to the next generation. His daughter Mandy Hansen has taken on a prominent role on Deadliest Catch and seems poised to carry her father's legacy on for years to come. A student of the Maritime Institute in San Diego, Mandy is doubling down on her love for the sea via both real-world and classroom experiences on the subject. On the original show, Mandy can often be seen piloting the FV Northwestern and bouncing ideas off her husband, deckhand Clark Pedersen. Whether it be quick decision-making, navigating through storms, or learning the technical side of things with the ship, Mandy is clearly making her father proud with her hard work and continuation of the family business. Oh, and yes, we almost forgot to mention the details regarding Sig's personal life. Reportedly, Sig Hansen married Lisa Ekstrom in 1987, and they have a biological daughter named Melissa Ekstrom. He is currently married to June Hansen and has two daughters, Mandy and Nina. In 2016, Hansen experienced a heart attack which was documented on Deadliest Catch. After he divorced his first wife, a legal battle resulted in Hansen not being allowed to see his daughter. He later abandoned his parental rights, and he is now separated from his daughter. Apart from this, Captain Sig has struggled with various health concerns over the course of his life. Many of these issues are allegedly caused by his famous smoking habit. In one episode, it was revealed that Hansen's smoking habit over the years cost him approximately the price of an average house. However, Sig has been the center of controversies throughout his career. In 2017, it was reported that one of Sig Hansen's estranged daughters had accused her father of sexual abuse. According to her, the alleged incidents dated back to a period when she was just 2 years old. Sig Hansen denied all of the accusations leveled against him, and the court case was dropped due to insufficient evidence. In 2018, Sig Hansen pled guilty to a crime assault charge related to an incident where the Deadliest Catch star spat on an Uber driver. He later apologized to the Uber driver for the argument. People often say that Sig Hansen is the richest captain in the history because reportedly he brings in an annual salary of $500,000 to $1 million. And that is a huge amount. It's clear that Captain Sig Hansen's status as the richest captain on Deadliest Catch is from the crab fishing prowess he learned during his teen years. While he managed to become a success story, it hasn't always been easy or lucrative. He told Channel Guide magazine that making money this way is scary and uncertain. In reflecting on his Norwegian heritage and the traditions of his community, Captain Sig Hansen emphasized the inherent challenges of a fisherman's life. He spoke of the perilous nature of the profession, coupled with its volatile economic landscape, where livelihoods hang in the balance with each passing season. Recounting the recent government shutdown's impact on seafood prices, he underscored the unpredictability that defines the industry. Regardless of its allure, Hansen acknowledged that this rugged lifestyle isn't suited for everyone, advocating for the stability and security of alternative career paths. Let us stress, it's no joke. Crab boats are extremely expensive to purchase and maintain. The boats seen on Deadliest Catch can reportedly cost several $1 million to build. The 150-foot Alaskan Enterprise, one of the largest boats, was over $2 million to construct. Smaller boats can still cost well over $100,000 to $160,000 to purchase used. The boat is just one expense too. The crab pots are thousands of dollars each, and the licenses for fishing crab where Deadliest Catch is filmed can cost up to $7 million. Through a variety of business ventures, Hansen expands his brand outside the deck of his ship. Sales of merchandise, such as clothing and mementos bearing Northwestern's famous emblem, bring in a sizable profit by taking advantage of the show's devoted fan following. His revenue is further increased by endorsements, speaking engagements, and public appearances, as fans beg to interact with the iconic captain in person. Hansen's television career has been successful, and his appearance on Deadliest Catch has made him a household figure. Hansen, one of the most enduring and popular characters on the show, is paid a lot for his work on screen persona and contributions to the series' long-term popularity. Hansen also uses his fame and industry connections to his advantage to land sponsorship opportunities and collaborations. Partnerships with producers of fishing gear, seafood companies, and other marine-related enterprises enable him to increase his influence in the commercial fishing industry while generating additional revenue. On top of tracking the personal lives of the crew members and the moments they share, the show focuses on the crew's tragedies and the risks they take. Crab fishermen have a dangerous job, and what happens off-camera is just as interesting as what you see on TV. A reality show receiving many Emmy nominations is unusual, yet Deadliest Catch has received multiple nominations for renowned awards in various categories. The series was nominated for an Emmy for the first time in 2007, when it received an incredible 4 nominations, one of which was for cinematography. Since then, Deadliest Catch has received 16 award wins out of 51 nominations. That's a significant number of nominations and wins for any TV series, but it's especially noteworthy for a reality show. It seems that fans of the show are in the minority. But that's not all. The show is causing problems in Alaska. Alaskans have grown a little tired of the shooting. Because the boats on the show are outperforming local fishermen, they are finding it difficult to make a livelihood. The fishermen who have managed to stay on the job are making roughly minimum pay, which is far less than most other workers. And this is concerning for those who are trying their best to make both ends meet. There's a lot more competition than normal because of the Discovery Channel-funded fishing expeditions. Resources are dwindling, and pay rates are being dragged down for regular guys who aren't fishermen on the show. And those guys are paid very well. On the other hand, climate change has an impact on the show lately. The water has experienced a 4-degree rise in temperature, which has displaced much of the crab population in the area. To continue fishing, boats have had to move to different areas of the ocean, often facing bigger storms while they are farther out and harder to rescue. Although the show steers clear of any political discussion of climate change, they can't get away from its impact. The moon's effect on the tide is the real problem. But how? Well, there's no question that the moon affects tides, and tides affect fishing crews. A lunar event called a supermoon is especially dangerous for fishermen. During a supermoon, a full moon is as close to the Earth as possible, making it look enormous. Apart from this, the camera crew sails alongside them, braving all the same conditions. In fact, they spend so much time together, the fishermen and the camera crew tend to become close and develop friendships. Working on the show is a risk, no matter what your job requires. Because the camera crew has to catch everything that's happening, they stay close to the fishermen as they perform the deadliest parts of their job. Everyone on board puts their life at risk, and many people end up with injuries. Coming back to his journey of rough waves, in 2011, he assumed the role of full-time captain for the Opilio crab and king crab seasons, with his brothers Norman and Edgar assisting him as a deckhand and deck boss, respectively. He joined the cast of Deadliest Catch in 2005, featuring in all of its 13 seasons. Moreover, he has appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, competed on The Celebrity Apprentice, and voiced the character Krabby in the animated film Cars 2. But that's not all. He co-authored a book, North by Northwestern, with Mark Sundin, which was published in 2010. It is a memoir and adventure tale that details the story of Sig Hansen and his family's experiences in the crab fishing industry. The book has received positive reviews, with readers appreciating the gripping narrative that brings them into the world of the Hansen family and their connection to the sea. While the exact number of copies sold cannot be mentioned, its massive popularity and positive reviews indicate a notable level of sales. It's pretty obvious you can predict how accomplished Sig is from all these details. His major honor lies in his successful fishing career, leading to his role in Deadliest Catch. He was inducted into the Scandinavian American Hall of Fame alongside Bobby Vee and Doc Severinsen in 2014. Likewise, Deadliest Catch has won an Emmy Award. With every new season, the show has attracted millions of people and has continuously been one of Discovery Channel's top-rated shows since its 2005 debut. Deadliest Catch is unique because of its unadulterated reality and gripping narrative, which gives viewers a close-up look at the dangerous life of crab fishermen as they flee the fury of the natural world in search of their riches. Episode after episode, fans are gripped by the show's dramatic intensity, which is driven by the ever-present fear of danger and the friendship among its vibrant group of characters. As the old guard increasingly gives way to the young guns with each passing season, inevitable questions for Sig loom large. At what point will Sig resign the chair and pass the boat onto the next generation of Hansens? Will Sig ever surrender the role that has defined him and upon which he has built his legacy? Who knows? To always stay updated about your favorite TV personalities, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon. The Deadliest Catch is a thrilling adventure set in the deep blue waters of the Atlantic Ocean. In the rough sea, with winds at 60 knots and waves rising menacingly, Dean Jacob Hutchins has a hefty task on his hands. Secure 100,000 pounds of gear on the boat's deck to avert a probable capsize. Jake must restack the gear to ensure safety for the 40-mile journey through worsening weather. On the boat Brenna, skipper Sean Dwyer is working furiously to install crab pots before the storm forces a shutdown. Sean, who earned more than $500,000 in a successful king crab season, is now looking for the rare Bairdi crab. As the storm approaches, Sean intends to dump his pots and flee to shelter. On the same boat, Greenhorn Luke Morawski is struggling to keep up with the fast-paced crab boat life. Sean's expertise as a skipper is critical in navigating these treacherous waters, making his duty of securing the pots essential to the crew's safety. The contrast between the experienced skipper and the struggling newbie adds strain to their common goal, securing their catch and successfully sailing through the storm. Skipper Sean Dwyer and his crew confront problems in a large, windy sea 280 miles northwest of Dutch. Battling 45 Brenna, they seek refuge after a marathon set, exercising caution in the 50-knot winds. Meanwhile, Captain Jake Anderson steams 40 miles through the north looking for new territory in the south. He faces the season's worst weather, including increased winds, slick decks, and the risky challenge of carrying heavy metal through the storm. As the storm rages, Sean and Jake, two young skippers, negotiate the dangerous waters. Sean's decisions are influenced by the urgent need for safety, realizing the storm's unpredictable nature. Jake, who has severed relations with Keith, bears the brunt of the duty in the south, confronted with dangerous conditions that exacerbate the risks of his difficult job. The marine drama tells the story of survival, individual choices, and the unrelenting power of nature.
On the hunt for a mountainous 91,000-pound...
Capturing the essence of the treacherous world these skippers navigate. Inexperienced Jash Taylor, a rookie crab fisherman, made a critical error while tossing bags, resulting in a paltry catch of small, thin female crabs. The team, led by Captain Sean Dwyer, faced not only physical hardships at sea, but also the bitter reality of a smaller crop. The team's emotions were reflected in the waves, which grew and sinking with unmet expectations. Jake Anderson, the ambitious captain of the saga, set off on a solo trip 275 miles to the southeast, aiming to find his fortune as the formerly turbulent seas calmed. He bravely placed 150 pots in the southern waters, each indicating a potential windfall. The crew hauled in a large number of crabs with an impressive 7.4-pound average. The crew's excitement was tangible, and their camaraderie was clear as they celebrated the enormous harvest. Under Anderson's leadership, the saga not only survived the physical perils of sea, but also won in the search of a profitable haul. The crew's spirits were high as they returned with their priceless cargo, proving that perseverance and resilience pay off. The saga's journey was more than just the miles traveled or the pots placed. It was a monument to the unwavering spirit of individuals who dare to embark into the unpredictable seas in quest of their aspirations. The saga crew took a risk that paid off handsomely, catching around 1,000 pounds of crabs on their first try. However, Captain Jake is concerned about what may happen next, believing they will be entering an area with a lot of ice. He decides to relocate all of their equipment to a different place, despite the fact that they had a successful fishing trip in the shallower water. Captain Sean and Jake, on the fishing boat Brianna, were concerned about potential problems. They decided to bring everything back on board, knowing that Captain Sean had his back if anything went wrong. They took a chance this time and learned it was similar to rolling the dice, but...
He's not there! Just said it! He's gone!
The experience made them reconsider doing it again. Sean and Jake maintained tight contact while on the boat, making decisions together. The danger of losing costly equipment spurred them to act quickly. They were thrilled with the prospect of capturing more fish, but the dangers made it a risky move. Despite taking a gamble this time, the experience made them reconsider doing it again. Jake was reassured by Captain Sean's support, and they both acknowledged that sometimes the prize isn't worth the risk in their fishing trips. This prompted them to reevaluate their approach for future endeavors, keeping in mind that safety should come first. The story revolves around a group of crab fishermen who embark on a challenging journey to the Western Front, where they encounter various challenges and obstacles. The crew, led by Captain Jake Anderson, is determined to reach their fishing quota and secure a large bounty of live and healthy crabs. Despite the challenges, the crew's tenacity and determination pay off as they successfully navigate turbulent waters and secure a large bounty. Jake's decision to stay at sea instead of returning to land for rest is a game-changer for the Sagas, as they catch more crabs in 8 hours than they do in longer periods of time. This unexpected turn of events not only helps them fulfill their quota, but also exceeds their expectations, leaving the crew upbeat and anxious to explore the rest of the sea. The crew faces a difficult predicament in the frigid waters of the Northwest, where they face a trail of crabs in the Bering Sea. Captain Jake pursues a group of Arctic-bound Ileo through the fishing grounds, and with determination, they reel in their first pot of the day, which is stocked with an abundance of crabs. The crew sees an opportunity to leave early with a full tank, and Captain Jake, with determination, lands a massive mass of crabs, energizing both the skipper and the crew for an epic grind. As they continue to cross the northern waters, the crew's determination and teamwork become the driving forces behind their success. The expedition that appeared to be a challenge turns into a victory, with the Northwestern crew leaving with not only a full tank, but also a boatload of memories from their crab-filled adventure in the Bering Sea. Captain Jonathan Hillstrand, on the other hand, intended for $1 million fall season, frantically grabbing the last 5,000 pounds of crab before returning to Dutch Harbor with a 10-day-old catch. The squad exerted all their energy into this final attempt, modifying gear almost 20 hours away from Dutch Harbor. However, an unexpected wave crashed while racing through terrifying 15-foot waves to gather the season's final 3 strings. Despite their arduous efforts, the squad did not meet its crab quota. In their quest for a successful season, Captain Jonathan and his crew encountered a difficult hurdle when they concentrated on capturing the last 5,000 pounds of crab before returning to Dutch Harbor. Despite a sudden wave, the crew escaped unscathed but fell short of their crab limit. Nonetheless, they maintained hope as they reset their gear, aiming to turn things around. The turning point came when they dragged up these huge crabs, and the team was overjoyed, cheering and kissing the crabs. It was a moment of atonement for the team, and their efforts were rewarded. The crew's perseverance throughout difficult circumstances showed how unexpected crab fishing can be. It wasn't just about the numbers. It was about the adventure, collaboration, and satisfaction of conquering hurdles. The team battled the unpredictability of the water, and their efforts became a symbol of the ups and downs that come with crab fishing. The taste of success was much sweeter after battling the unpredictable waves. In conclusion, the story highlights the importance of perseverance, teamwork, and luck in the unpredictable world of crab fishing. Captain Sig Hansen, a 5th-generation Norwegian fisherman, embarks on a remarkable trip with his daughter Mandy to hunt a species they haven't sought since 1988. They hire a welder to ensure the boat is fully equipped for the hunt, including line cutters that require accuracy and knowledge in the unpredictable world of fishing.
Hoping that there's still some fishing here. We do have to make a delivery.
The father-daughter combination is filled with excitement as they set sail, combining tradition, skill, and the excitement of rediscovery. Captain Jonathan Hillstrand, known for his explosive pot tactics and welding skills, is tempted back into the traditional Derby-style fishery, bringing nostalgia and renewed brotherhood to their maritime adventures. The brothers' explosive pot tactics and welding talents are put to the test once more, demonstrating their long-lasting proficiency in the business. The Derby-style fishery emerges as a traditional yet exhilarating episode in their fishing history, propelling them into a new partnership that promises to make waves in the world of crab fishing. In the Northwest, $2.2 million worth of Golden King crab await harvest in the Derby fishery. Crews race to get ready and set sail, creating a frenzy. However, unexpected news breaks when Jonathan claims all the crab for himself, leaving nothing for the others. Captain Sig, furious, calls Jonathan to check the story, and to his dismay, Jonathan admits to ordering all of the bait. After months of precise planning and investment in gasoline, food, and bait, the Bering Sea fleets finally cast their nets. Linda stands out among the salty air and pounding waves as a beacon of resilience, demonstrating true grit that marked her apart. The team is determined to negotiate the choppy waters, hoping for a successful harvest. Captain Keith, ready for a thrilling crab-catching trip, goes north with high hopes, appealing to the crab gods and asking for their help in filling his deck with the best catch. He's concerned about the time he's lost and is determined to maximize the biomass haul. The team celebrates a large catch, making Captain Keith's efforts worthwhile. The attitude on board is one of satisfaction and contentment, as the team enjoys the fruits of their labor and effort. Captains Linda Greenlaw and Wild Bill Bowski are a team of fishermen who are tracking a school of crabs moving west when they discover they have traveled 20 miles beyond the authorized limit of eastern crablands. Despite the harsh weather and crashing waves, the crew struggles to do their responsibilities, but a lack of teamwork leads to disagreements. Captains Bill and Linda decide to place their 110 pots right on the legal boundary, but a new problem arises when the wet room on the boat floods, complicating an already dangerous scenario. As tensions increase and problems mount, the captains and crew must find a way to overcome the sea's adversities, collaborate effectively, and navigate the perilous conditions in order to secure their crab harvest. The unpredictable nature of the water creates frequent challenges necessitating rapid thinking and concerted efforts to assure the success of their crabbing expedition. Captain Keith Coburn is on a tight timetable, attempting to deliver his crab cargo in 72 hours. He's on a quest, looking for the first 60 pots submerged on the southern boundary of the fishing grounds. The struggle against dropping dock prices adds urgency to his plan. On the Saga, Captain Jake is equipped with 500,000 pounds of Sean Dwyer's Black Hog, a highly sought-after crab kind, and has secured another 500,000 pounds. Captain Keith makes a risky action to discharge the fish within the allotted 3 days by meticulously distributing his remaining pots, arranging them in a contour of soft bottom. Captain Sig Hansen, preparing for an offload in 72 hours, made a risky decision based on his daughter Mandy's finding of signs of life. He set all 120 pots in anticipation of a successful catch, but their elation was tempered when Captain Sig predicted an impending storm, leaving them a 48-hour window. In a race against time, the crew set out to inspect each pot, hoping to get a good haul before the storm came. However, the scenario took a worrying turn when Captain Sig encountered 20-foot seas, and every pit was dedicated to Mandy's chosen grounds, allowing no margin for error. An unfortunate incident occurred during the waves, and Captain Sig had to think quickly and prepare a backup plan. He turned to his daughter Mandy and asked her to take up Loritz's responsibilities.
Of the elusive bear-dye crab.
The attitude on the northern boat transformed when it became clear that a valuable team member must leave due to unforeseen health issues. The crew's solidarity is clear as they encourage Loritz during this trying time, realizing that their shared trip on the hostile waters requires each member to be in top form. Captains Jonathan and Andy Hillstrand are working hard at sea, 180 miles northwest, on the Time Bandit. Crewman Jesse McCullum, son of the late engineer Mike McCullum, is on deck working to fill the crab pots. With little over half of their 50,000-pound crab-catching objective remaining and an offload deadline in 4 days, the Hillstrand brothers confront a difficult decision. They decide to haul up the 20 pots placed along a phantom ridgeline, increasing their chances of catching 41 crabs. With the euphoria of a successful crab catch, the team continues their hard work, aiming to reach their goal and dump the valuable cargo on schedule. The next several days will be critical, as the Time Bandit faces the weather and the ticking clock to complete their crab catch objective. Captain Sig Hansen and his daughter Mandy are a team of fishermen who navigate the Bering Sea's Prolof Islands, aiming for golden birdeye and black cod. The crab count initially disappoints the crew, but when it suddenly soars, Captain Sig is relieved. A gorgeous orca appears near their boat, bringing joy to the crew members. The sight of the orca reminds them of the beauty that surrounds their arduous occupation and the depth of their marine story. Captain Sig is preparing the northwestern boat for a 4-day delivery, and they catch approximately 58 large crabs. However, an orca whale is spotted near the boat, and Captain Sig is unhappy because the whale is keeping him from placing his crab pots. As the whale eventually disappears, Captain Sig takes advantage of the chance to lay a pot, dragging up approximately 50 crabs, serving as a reminder that fishing is more than just strategy. It also requires time, effort, and a bit of luck. In the uncertain world of fishing, encounters with an orca whale are interpreted as a sign of good fortune.
The island chain to an 85-fathom canyon, the preferred depth.
The crew accepts that success at sea requires patience, hard work, and a bit of luck. As they continue their journey, the crew expresses gratitude for the plentiful harvest and the unexpected situations that make their job both tough and fulfilling. On the Aleutian Lady, fifth-generation fisherman Rick Shelford was attempting to harvest 43,000 pounds of eastern berry crabs when a difficult scenario arose. Rick skillfully put 51 prospect pots southeast of the storm's course before the rising waters forced him to halt operations. As the waves rose, the unexpected occurred. A crew member named Brandon sustained an injury. The difficult sea conditions exacerbated the problem, leaving the captain, Rick, concerned about Brandon's safety. Rick had to make the difficult decision to suspend operations because the remaining crabs were still waiting to be captured. However, safety took precedence over the catch, as the storm's power made it evident that continuing was too risky. As the Aleutian Lady sailed through the turbulent waters, Rick and his crew confronted not only the physical hardships of the storm, but also the emotional burden of a crew member's injuries. The sea, which was unexpected and formidable, put not only their fishing skills to the test, but also their capacity to adapt and support one another under difficult circumstances. The crew opted to drop their crab pots twice to see if the crabs were nearer the surface. The captain's prayer appeared to work, as the second set yielded a bountiful catch of crabs. The excitement on the boat was apparent as they understood their good fortune. The captain's gratitude for the rich harvest reverberated throughout the boat, instilling a sense of solidarity among the crew. The journey proceeded.
30-day adventures in pursuit of swordfish.
Punctuated by the rhythmic sounds of waves and the prospect for more successful crab sets in the days ahead. These heart-stopping instances remind us of the resilience, teamwork, and determination required to cross such dangerous seas.